Alright, I wanted to see if I can kind of throw together a quick little tutorial for anyone not super experienced with Steam Big Picture or its custom controller configuration. For me, it's been great. I have chronic pain in my hands, and especially at the times when things hurt and even preventing injury, a normal controller is a lot more ergonomic for my hands and keep in making sure I don't have any pain start up again than using a mouse and keyboard. So I'm able to go in there, set some bindings, and play games that otherwise can't, or in this case, actually don't have any controller support listed. So if you're in that spot, which kind of want to play a game like this, which big fan of this one, it's cool. You can get the Steam Big Picture mode by going up here. It'll be right next to the minimize button. However, it'll say Big Picture mode. So clicking this takes you here, and now you're in big picture mode. And this is kind of where they have a lot of their controller support and configuration tucked away. And let's see here. So I have a normal Xbox One controller, actually a third-party one plugged in right now, but it registers as that. And you can navigate all this with the controller. And let's pretend we came here and I didn't... Oh, there we go. I actually don't have that checked. So don't worry about this one yet. Let's say you're using a normal Xbox controller. You come in here and go to your library, go to, in this case, Nightmare of Decay, which is a keyboard-only game. You go to controller, if you go in here to manage game, controller configuration, it'll actually tell you controller support's disabled. This is telling you that, hey, you don't have Xbox One controller configurations turned on. Go back to their main controller settings, you can enable the support. So that's where I was at the start. Back out. Go up to this gear icon up here. Go down to controller settings. If you check this, this will try to let you configure things, but the one thing I would say to watch out for is that if games natively support Xbox controllers, sometimes this can get really goofy. So after you're done playing, I would recommend unchecking this if you're playing other games that support Xbox controllers and they're acting up. And you can see here, my controller is identified as an Xbox One controller. This should work for things like PlayStation controllers out the box. I believe my binding should work for that too, but I actually don't have a PS4 controller hanging around here right now. So let's go back. Go into library. Let's pick Nightmare of Decay. And if you go to Manage Game and Controller Configuration. Well, right now we already have my bindings, but let's say you didn't. If you navigate here, it'll typically start you off with like a gamepad to keyboard and mouse binding. But right here, oh wait, there you go. Right now it says to press X to go to Browse Configs. That's what I'm going to press right now. Or you can navigate to it with a mouse and click it. So using my controller, I'm going to click Browse Configs with X. And as of right now, if this developer, you can actually select an official one. So if they had that, it would show up here. If you have any of your own, they show up here. Friends made any. If there's any in the community, which, hey, it looks like there's actually another one here. And if you made your own templates, which I've been doing this for a bit, so I have got a couple of even trying to get Diablo 2 to work, which was kind of fun. But as of right now, you can pick one of these default ones, and you can even, down low, if any of these are not showing up for you, you can press Y, or click this option down here for Show Other Controller Types. And that'll kind of open this up, and you should see a whole bunch of other templates you can work off of, depending on which controller you have. So there you can see, like, this one says, right over here, Nintendo Switch Pro controller, this is for a PS5 controller, and lots of these are like, it's a controller that emulates being a keyboard and mouse and things like that. And that's actually kind of what I worked off of. So if you're not seeing my template showing up under Community, try to toggle on Show Other Controller Types. I believe should be able to use this if you're on like a PlayStation 5 controller, because they're pretty one-to-one. If you navigate to this, you can then select Import Config, which You can either click, or if you're on here, I'm just going to press A. Show you a preview of it to show you kind of what controls I came up with that you can always change whatever isn't working for you. And in my case, I'm going to go ahead and hit Apply Configure. At this point, you could go in and play the game, and I can actually even give that a go right now. But you can see here that all this is doing is saying, like, hey, if you're on the left stick, that's now mapped to WASD. You can actually toggle sprint with how I have the controls set up right now by clicking on the left thumbstick. Your right stick is going to be a mouse. One thing with that is that every controller's dead zone is going to be different, and trying to aim without aim assist, you kind of want it to be as close to hugging the dead zone as possible. So if you're in the game and your mouse, you're kind of getting stick drift, that you're just aiming when you're not touching the stick, I would go into this joystick mouse right here, and you can go into additional settings, and you can actually set the dead zone itself. And for me, I have it at 0.025, but you can adjust it to wherever you want. This inner one's the one that's going to affect if it's drifting from the start. So I would recommend doing that if yours is drifting. If not, you're probably good. Another thing that you might run into here is that the sensitivity I decided to pick for the effectively our mouse sensitivity on our map to our right thumbstick may not be something that works well for you. If you need to change that, all you have to do is go into the bindings, go to the right stick where it says joystick mouse, and this is mouse sensitivity right here. All you have to do is just slide it here to make it move faster, slide it this way to make it move slow. And that's really it. But yeah, let's go ahead and give this a shot, and I can show you how to change some things if you think my control schemes aren't working for you, if there's anything you want to change. So from here, we can go to play the game. I'm actually going to use my controller, so it, yep. Lots of times it'll give you warning if you don't have a config set. And yeah, if you have any bindings selected, you can see that pop up at the bottom right that'll say that, hey, it loaded up some bindings for you. How can I go somewhere and not spoil something for anyone who hasn't played? Sure, I could... Try this. I have actually never tried Dungeon Escape, so... see what this looks like. Okay. So here we go. This is all with the controller. I am not using a mouse and keyboard right now. Moving my left stick will move me here. Clicking it in while moving, start a sprint. I can sprint right now. So. I have pickup mapped to right bumper, that E button, which actually, if you're ever in here and you're saying, hey, like you don't have the button icon saying press A to pick something up, it says E. You ever need to check what that is? On the Xbox controller, it's the guide button. I imagine on the PlayStation. I don't know if you touched the touchpad or what, but this is me pressing the guide button right now. You can go to controller configuration, and here you could double check any bindings that have for your current profile. So you can see I mapped E to the right bumper, and because this game really doesn't have a lot of actions, I also mapped it to A. So now we can just back out. If I press right bumper, there we go. And that's saying to go ahead and press N. Let's say it's your first time here and you're saying, okay, what's N? I don't know these bindings. Once again, you can either press the guide button on your controller, or technically you could shift tab, but that kind of defeats the purpose of why we're here, because you're using the controller. So guide button, controller configuration, and let's find N. And again, not a lot of bindings, so that's the only thing I have on the D-pad right now. So pressing up on the D-pad will hit the N key. Cool. Okay, interesting. I haven't tried that yet. All right. I'm curious how the sprint and everything will work. I guess real quick, I'll make sure. Let's say that you thought you didn't want that. You wanted N to be on the A key, A button. You could go down in here, select our button pad, and let's go ahead and change this A binding here. Instead of E, make it the N key. That's really all it takes. There you go. That's me pressing now the A key. Sorry, I keep saying key. A button. It actually presses the N key to read that. I'm going to switch that back because that's going to mess me up. I'm going to be standing in front of a door reading a document. Oh, and I guess that's another thing. Let's say you totally jacked up your controls. Sure. Just set a bunch of garbage. I don't want this. If you ever at a spot that you kind of want to reset back to someone's template or anything, you can always go to Browse Configs, go ahead and find my binding again, or whichever bindings you're using. Go ahead and import and apply. So that just overrode everything and got me right back. One thing real quick with my configuration here, the one thing that I was pretty happy with how it turned out, but it's not the most intuitive, is that if you hold left bumper, you get a number wheel, kind of like the weapon wheel select in a lot of games, like Saints Row, Doom Eternal, things like that. I don't have any weapons equipped right now, but can technically press these buttons. If you have anything equipped, oh yeah, there we go. This is saying press a number to assign a hotkey. If I hold left bumper, let's assign that to 2. Go. Sometimes it's a little... Okay. Those are set. If we tab out, be holding left bumper, be using the right stick right now to go ahead and move that. Sorry, I didn't say that before. Got my survival knife out. Got my gun out. And here we go. I'll go shoot some things and see if I can think of anything else to try to help. This is cool. Depending on your controller, once again, that inner dead zone's... I know, this is dark. Inner dead zone's kind of critical for this to work. Oh, cool, my sprint's working. It should shut off once you let go of the stick or if you click it again while you're running. Oh, holy crap. X right now is reload. I'm gonna get rocked trying to knife him, but I'll try it here. Pretty good. Get the idea. Okay. Well, I think that's about everything I can think of. If the one thing I would say, if you ever get to a spot where anything's weird happening with, I have this holding down, you're technically holding down shift when you're sprinting. If you're getting things like the overlay popping up, try just sprinting again, because that will hopefully toggle off the sprint. I had a few issues with it, but overall it seemed to work. There you go. Got some quick weapon switching. Got your sprinting. You should be able to freely aim. There's no aim assist, but it's not being able to play the game if you're hurting. Okay. Hope that helps, and feel free to reach out to me on Steam. I am just one guy with a full-time job, and this is just for fun, so I will try to get back to you when I get back to you. But yeah, either reach out to me on Steam, try to post this as a YouTube video so you can comment there. This helps.